Tom Brady taking his talents to Tampa, and one of his new weapons is kind enough to join us, star receiver Chris Godwin. Chris, so great to have you with us this morning. Please tell us what went through your mind when you found out that you're going to be catching passes from Tom Brady.
First off, thank you guys for having me. But honestly, to answer your question, I was elated. I was so excited just because anytime you have the opportunity to play with a guy like Tom Brady, that's so accomplished and that's arguably the GOAT, man, I think that's something special. I think I'm more excited to learn than anything else, really.
So Chris, when you look at this team right now, I mean, first of all, I'm imagining it's not just about Tom Brady's history, that you guys have watched enough tape on him, particularly from last season or whatever. What do you guys, Mike Evans, O.J. Howard, and the crew, what do you believe Tom Brady has left in him?
Honestly, we believe that he has a ton left in him. And I think that, the fact that people are out here doubting him, I think that's just going to motivate him even more, which, that spells good things for us. I think, like you said, when you look at the guys that we have on our team, myself, Mike, OJ, we got a whole bunch of younger guys that are coming up that are ready to explode. I think when you add the experience of Tom Brady and the leadership ability, man, I think the sky's the limit for us. I'm just ready to get going.
Chris, thanks for coming on, by the way. We've seen Brady dink and dunk a lot recently, and a lot of successful quarterbacks, especially Tom Brady, have done that. Very different kind of quarterback than Jameis Winston. Very different than Bruce Arians, no risk it, no biscuit philosophy. What differences are you anticipating here between a quarterback who threw 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions, and a much more conservative approach? How does that affect you as a receiver?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's going to affect us. Now, how exactly, I think it remains to be seen. I think the great thing about having, a guy like Tom is that he's the ultimate competitor. All of these things that people are saying that he can't do, I'm sure he's going to go out there and be ready to prove it. And it's our job as receivers, as his teammates, to kind of go out there and to grow with him. I think all the work still remains to be done. But we're excited about it. You know what I mean? I think all the weapons that we have, I don't see there being any reason why we can't have, a more explosive season than we had last year.
Chris, talk to me about this. So Tom Brady clearly wears number 12. You've been wearing 12 since high school. How's that going to play out? Are you just going to hand it over to the 6-time champ, or are you going to try to get something out of this?
I've gotten that question a ton so far. But, for me, it just comes down to, to a matter of respect. I have a ton of respect for Tom and for what he's done. I'm still establishing myself. And because of that, I'm willing to defer that to Tom. If he really wants it, he can have it, just out of respect for him. And, I'm hoping that, when it's my time and something like this comes up, that I get that same respect from the younger guy. You know what I mean? Things just kind of come full circle for you.
Chris, let me ask you this question. You guys were the number 3 ranked offense in the National Football League last year. You had the number 1 passing attack in the National Football League last year. So what was missing? That all of a sudden is going to be made up for now? Just put it in perspective for us all.
Yeah, I mean, to be perfectly honest, we did too many things to kill ourselves. We had way too many untimely penalties. We had way too many turnovers. And, I know quarterbacks always get too much of the blame, for all that, because a lot of those interceptions and turnovers, they weren't necessarily, our quarterback's fault. Because of that, I think we learn from those mistakes. We have to look back and learn from them and then grow moving forward. I think once we take care of the ball and we still have the same production offensively, that, we're just going to keep going up.
Chris, it was reported that the one question that Brady asked, the one request he had of the organization was all his teammates' phone numbers. Have you heard from Tom Brady directly?
Yeah, I've talked to Tom a couple of times now. Once, right before, it was official, and then when it was actually official, he reached out and, we just kind of talked, chopped it up. Really, we were just talking about, just mainly like introduction stuff, just kind of get to know each other and really start to build this relationship, because it's going to be a long journey. We're hoping that that it ends the way that we want it to end. And because of that, we got to start, planting the seeds now for a successful journey and for a successful relationship. So that was really the bulk of that conversation.
You mentioned with Jameis Winston, everyone's focusing on the 30 interceptions, 30 touchdowns. You said that's obviously not all on him. A lot of them are turnovers. Do you think he's still a starter in this league, and where might be a good fit?
There's no doubt in my mind that he's a starter in this league. I think Jameis is one of the more dynamic quarterbacks that we have. I think arm talent-wise, he's up there with with the best of them. He's made some throws where I was like just wowed by it. But obviously, like turnovers, they are what they are, and I think, like I said, it's not all on his fault. And I think people who know football, they can tell that. And I also think that he's going to learn from all this experience. But in terms of where, honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing him with the Chargers. Going out there and getting a shot to go ahead and play. Obviously they got Tyrod Taylor, but a little competition never hurt anybody.
Chris, this is a strange question, but I'm going to ask it to you anyway, because as a guy that's about to be, that is officially the teammate of Tom Brady, and he's going to be throwing you the football, you just articulated that every decision wasn't Jameis Winston's fault. We'll take you at your word. You know football better than us. That's fine. Let me ask you this question. Even though Jameis Winston may deserve to be a starting quarterback somewhere in the National Football League, you'll be learning a lot under Tom Brady. Would you have a problem with Jameis Winston learning under Tom Brady? Tampa Bay possibly keeping him, or bringing him back, rather, to be Tom Brady's backup, since Tom Brady is probably going to be finished in a year or two. What about that notion?
Honestly, I would not have any problem with that at all. Now, whether or not he would, that's a completely different story. I can't speak for him. But, I know guys are competitors. Right. But like I said, for me, I'm just trying to learn as much as I can. And I would love for James to still be here. Like that's my guy. I've learned a ton from him, so if that was a possibility, I'm all for it, man.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.